My name is Travis Jensen. I'm a San Francisco and Los Angeles-based photographer. I actually started off as a writer. I was working for the San Francisco Chronicle here. I was never really fully happy with the images that would accompany the stories that I would write. So I remember in 2005, 2006, I just kind of picked up a camera and taught myself everything about it. And pretty soon, the bug took over. I started off shooting skateboarding photography. The thing with skateboarding photography, I felt like I was doing the same thing kind of over and over again. I wasn't fully satisfied, so I started walking around with my camera, out in the streets, and I didn't even know there was such a thing called street photography. Through skateboarding, I felt very comfortable being out in the street. Some people would go to the mountains or wherever to take pictures. For me, I just was oh man, there's so much stuff going on outside my door here. I'm constantly moving. It's very common for me to put 10, 12 miles out on the street, and I'm just addicted to it. I love going out. I love looking for those rare moments and just trying to build a very coherent body of work. I shoot within 28 and 35 millimeters. This lens here is a 28 millimeter. In order for me to get a shot, I gotta be pretty damn close. Robert Capa said, if your images aren't good enough, you're not close enough. That's coming from someone that stormed the beaches of Normandy, during World War II, and that kind of always stuck with me. The photos are kind of one of a kind. They're like rare baseball cards. Along Market, Mid-Market Street, and up in the Tenderloin. Those are some of my favorite places to shoot. It's real. A lot of these people, they're from here, they've been in here a long time. I actually feel quite comfortable in the Tenderloin, walking around with a camera. But when I landed in San Francisco, fresh out of high school, that's where I ended up. I know what to shoot and what not to shoot. So every situation for me out here is different. When I'm primarily looking for people, usually strangers. Whether or not I decide if I'm gonna take the photo without asking or ask for permission to take a portrait, that all just kind of is a split-second decision that I make right on the fly. We're gonna go meet some of the Photo Mish squad down at the Embarcadero. Photo Mish is our little crew. It's a lifestyle / very, very small apparel company. Photo Mish is an acronym for Focused on Truthful Outcomes. That sums up my photography to a T there. As far as the Excelsior goes, I got bored shooting in the Tenderloin, and I've always been fascinated by the Excelsior because I would just hear all these stories about man, that's a rough place, you gotta be careful out there. Whenever people tell me that, then I usually make it a point to go check it out for myself. So I hooked up with somebody in the neighborhood. He introduced me to some of his friends, and from there, things just kind of clicked. So it started with me, taking photos of them in their neighborhood, just kind of documenting what I felt was the last of the real San Francisco. Over time, a handful of them have picked up cameras, and now they're lifers in this craft.
I've been serious about this photography thing for maybe 2-3 years, and I'm people can't believe how I just became this little minor local celebrity because I took what I learned from my neighborhood, which is a hustle, you know what I'm saying, and turned it into my photography. So I was doing it a little bit before I met Travis, but when I met him, he kind of he was the steroids for me, you know what I'm saying, he gave me that juice, and I was this is how you're supposed to do it.
One of my really good friends told me, 5 years ago I was posted up here I had a pistol stuffed in my pants. Now I'm out here with a camera.
From a jail cell to this, that's me, my life, from me coming from nothing, going into jail, spending almost 13 years in prison, but now I'm trying to change my life into this. Photographer, videographer, trying to do something with my life, better my life, the best that I can with photography.
It's really inspiring for me to watch them learn the craft because it keeps it fresh for me. These guys are some of my best friends. Being with them helps me kind of knock the dust off my own creative process. Once I noticed the city start changing at a rapid pace, where a lot of stuff was here today, gone tomorrow, a lot of the people are gone, I kind of made an effort to start documenting what I felt was the San Francisco that I live in, what I'm seeing every day outside my window. I take a very honest approach to photography. I try to portray everyone I photograph with dignity and respect, regardless of their situation.
Street photography is a delicate dance. That's the best way to describe it on the street. It's a very delicate dance. You know what I mean? You have to proceed with caution, I think, and just just kind of just be honest with your intentions.
I can't really say for certain what it is I'm looking for when I'm out on the street. I just know when to shoot. When it does manifest in front of me, like I recognize it and then I push the button. At that second, I make a very conscious decision to like compose, you know, frame the photo as best I can, make sure the light's okay, and then just fire. You know, street photography is boot camp for photography. If you can shoot decent and fast on the street, you can shoot anything.